Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today, and this is round 11 of the season for the German Grand Prix at the Hockenheim Ring. If you guys missed the last episode for my home race at the British Grand Prix, then go watch it guys by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of the screen to go watch the latest episode before we jump into any spoilers. But this weekend guys, we have a lot of rain forecast over the weekend. It's going to make things very, very interesting, especially in qualifying and the race as well. And both sessions are going to be waterlogged with a lot of rain in the air. The bad news is we was meant to have a major engine upgrade on the car this race, and it hasn't arrived. Or actually, it might be an ultimate one, to be fair, now I think about it, and it hasn't arrived. So that's quite annoying because it's going to mean now we're going to miss the opportunity to get engine upgrades on the car for Spa and Monza most likely. So we'll try and turn that over for this episode and try and get that on the car. But you can see the R&D graph. Red Bull have brought an upgrade of their own this race, and they extend their gap at the top of the table. And overall, things are looking pretty tricky for us. With 2,200 points to spend, we're sitting there with a car that has been upgrading quite some time, and the engine is becoming a big factor, a big issue. In the last episode, you guys saw how much we are struggling with the power unit now because we just don't have the raw engine power to compete on the straights, and it's costing us a lot of time. But in terms of this weekend, we are back to 110% AI as always, and we're actually going to run a new power unit this weekend. We used the worn one, the power unit number 1, for the first practice session. We then moved on to the second components on the MG UK and also the control electronics and the energy store. And we're now on a much fresher power unit going into qualifying here this weekend, in which, the rain could throw up a bit of a mixed situation in terms of the conditions. It could be quite interesting to see how it all pans out. There is Pierre Gasly, my former teammate in the Alfa Romeo currently. And overall, hopefully the target in this one is to try and progress into Q3. I think that's doable. I think the fact it's raining is going to make it quite doable for us in terms of making our way to the sharp end of qualifying and trying to maybe challenge for pole position, really. I think we might have the pace with these conditions. If it goes to dry, I'm not so confident. I think Red Bull might have it, but in the wet, I think we've got a chance. So hopefully we can carry that through. As you see there, Kimi Raikkonen in the McLaren, getting ready for this qualifying session here today. But guys, we're going to run 110 AI once again this weekend, and we're going to try and go over it. Hopefully it's a decent session, and we can show a true pace. As you can see the Toro Rosso suit, there was actually a little bit glitched on Albon there. I'm not quite sure what's happening. I need to look into it because it keeps on reoccurring for some reason, so I might have to clean up my mod files. But nonetheless, let's focus on the task in hand, and that is qualifying here today. And first of all, worth pointing out, I'm running an updated helmet design now for the rest of the season. We're going to stick with this black and blue design on the top, matching the gloves, if you will, as we move on towards the end of our first lap in qualifying. And overall, it was a very strong opening lap. Verstappen setting the pace with an 18.7, and we're going to cross the line with a 19.4. 7 tenths off the pace, but it wasn't that bad. And generally speaking, we're actually quite comfortable. The final sector, I do lose about 4 tenths, so that could be improved slightly. But having said that, it's a decent banker, but I had just about enough fuel and DRS for one more lap. So we are going to go for one more here. And this lap was actually my best lap in Q1, so we're going to stay on board for the entirety of it. And at this point, the rain's still coming down. There's 5 minutes to go. I'm feeling pretty confident if I can nail this lap, we should be able to get through into Q2. So it's all about making sure we try and improve a little bit. And the last lap was good in itself, but I think there's a bit more time to find. And currently we're about 2 tenths up, slash a tenth and a half up currently, just trying to see if I can find a bit more lap time.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Not the best exit out of the hairpin as I throw away about half a tenth to a tenth of a second, but we carry a bit more speed and find a bit more lap time here through these lefts and rights, through the Mercedes-Benz grandstand, and so far 2 tenths up, and we're actually quickest through sector 2 and currently going purple, so it's looking pretty good as we're going towards sector 3, my weakest sector on the entire circuit. Going towards the sacked hairpin, keeping it nice and tight, nice and low through there, quickly back on the power and carrying the speed through this sort of left-right chicane and down to the final couple of corners here. It's all about just holding it together and not throwing the lap away. We're a bit too shallow on the entry there, but we get a good exit out the final corner as we get the power down. A little bit of oversteer, but we're going to run up to the line, and we are going to improve by 2.5 tenths. Still half second off Verstappen's pace, so we lose a lot of time at the final sector, but still P5 for us, and it was looking pretty good. As I went back to the garage, I was still in the top 10, but I then realised with 45 seconds to go, I dropped into the 10th place, and I looked at the gaps, and straight away I realised to myself, we might be in trouble. And we was. For some reason, the AI found a lot of time. I should know better. I should have been on the track when the session was ending, really, because the track was still wet. It was still raining. You can see in the background it is still raining, but the AI for some reason found about a second, so I should have gone back out really on fresh rubber and tried to improve, but I genuinely thought my lap was good enough to get through, but the AI improved, unfortunately for us, and we've been knocked out in Q1 in only 19th place in what was a disappointing qualifying for us here today, and not what I wanted, but the race is going to be wet. There is rain expected, so hopefully we can try and turn it around and use that to our advantage. So let's jump into it and let's see if we can try and recover in the race as we now jump into round 11 for the German Grand Prix here at the Hockenheimring.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me. It's 2.8 miles around the Hockenheimring then, and some fairly wet conditions to overcome on this 17-corner circuit. The long, curved back straight leads into a tight hairpin for the best overtaking opportunity. But expect to see the cars running wide as braking offline could prove very difficult indeed. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Let's talk about Martinez. No grid penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Lewis Hamilton and Giovinazzi, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Russell and Carlos Sainz, Hülkenberg, Norris, Alexander Albon and Kvyat. Raikkonen, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty, and Lance Stroll, Martinez, and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the German Grand Prix. Not the best qualifying, and we start on the last row of the grid, down in 19th place. But the conditions are in our favour, and I think it could make the race quite interesting. You can see on screen, it's going to start off wet, go to dry, and then get wet again. So a very mixed bag of conditions in this race here today, and it's important to get the strategy absolutely spot on. Fuel-wise, I'm going to run 0.5 and negative because I want to be a little bit lighter so I can be more aggressive and attack early on in the race. I do think we are going to use a dry rubber, and I do think we are going to go back on inters. So I've got to bear that in mind. Strategy is key, and we've got to try and be aggressive. I want to really push this first lap. I want to try and make up a lot of positions and try and get to the top 10 as quick as I can. So the target is simple. We want to try and win this race. I do want to try and win it. I think that is possible. I think the strategy and the conditions could allow us to do it. And very much we've got to try and replicate what Sebastian Vettel did in the real-life German Grand Prix in 2019. But let's jump into it and let's see how we get on here as we get ready for this race. And hopefully we can try and outscore Max Verstappen. Let's get racing and let's jump into the German Grand Prix. Right, here we go then. Let's build up the revs and try and get a good start here as the 5 red lights come on. And it's lights out and away we go. Very quick lights, but we're away. It's average start, not the best one, but we are going to make up for lost time and ground to turn 1. Around the outside of Lance Stroll, pretty simple overtake there. Bottas in the Mercedes looking for a move. Vettel in front, and we're going to go down the inside on the brakes here. I was going to go very aggressive, but we've got to be careful as well to not lose our front wing. Yellow flag. We're going to try and get past Sebastian here. We're side by side with the German. We're tucked in behind Sainz, or Raikkonen, sorry, I've got to get off the gas because I was going to hit the back of him there. Sebastian Vettel on the floor looking for a move here. We're going to pick up the slipstream on Kimi, who's going quite slow. 3 wide with Bottas here. We're going to go down the inside of multiple cars. Kvyat squeezing me into the apex, but we are going to barge our way through. There we go, bit of contact, but we keep our front wing in one piece, and we're up to P14. So that's a good start for us. Exactly what we needed. And hopefully we can get some more places, but really good start from us. Very happy with that. The car feels agile, but the track feels quite dry already. I don't think it'll be long before the dry tyres. Let's ask on the radio.
Looks like the weather is going to dry up in about 5 minutes. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
There we go then. Ran a bit wide into the stadium section by asking on the radio there, but looks like this track's going to dry up quite quickly. There's barely any spray really coming off the tyres compared to what you normally see in these conditions. But Gasly setting the pace in the Alpha out front. That's good for us in terms of our race. The fact he's leading, that's good news. Let's see if we can make some progress now and start to make some more moves happen. These are the good conditions for us. Intermediates suit me. And this was the race that I won last season, if you guys remember, in these similar conditions. There was a wet race, or a dry and wet race last season. We're right on the back of these guys. That Alpha in front's got a bit of wing damage, I can see it. It's Daniel Ricciardo. We get a fantastic switchback on Lando Norris here. We've got the slipstream on these guys. We're going to gain all the way down the back straight. Look at this. Absolutely flying. That Renault's going to go defensive, so we're going to get the chance to go around the outside here. We're going to go very deep on the brakes around the outside of multiple cars. Oh, what a move. And Ricciardo in front of us, he's got wing damage. Let's try and get past him as well. He has got a slipstream on the Red Bull, but we're gaining. Down the inside. Bit of a lock-up, but we get the move done. And what a sequence of overtakes. Up to P9 behind George Russell. What a start to this race. Exactly what we needed. Let's keep pushing. It seems like I'm running a bit too much fuel, and I'm actually going even more negative, which is surprising. So I'm going to run some lean mix whilst I'm stuck in a bit of traffic. But we are flying here already. This is really good for our race. And Gasly's still... Gasly's still leading. That Racing Point, I can see, has got wing damage as well in front of Giovinazzi there. I can see that from a distance as well, so more damaged cars. Let's push on here and get after these guys as Giovinazzi makes the move. And these guys are really squabbling here. That Racing Point is completely out of place. I'm going to go on the outside again here. That seems to be working. I'm going to follow what Russell's doing, but I'm getting squeezed here by Magnussen. He's going to leave me enough room. I'm going to force my way through though. I'm on the back foot. I've got no momentum onto this back straight, so we're going to have to try and defend from Magnussen now as he comes back at me with slipstream. We're going to hold the inside. It should be a fairly simple one.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
There we go. Job done down the inside. Perez in front. He's got wing damage, I think. Let's try and get past him. I'm going to select the... Do I go softs? I'm going to go mediums. I'm going to go mediums. I don't know how long this dry weather is going to last. I'll ask on the radio in a minute to see how long it will last, and I might go back to the softs possibly. It also depends what the team offer me as a strategy change, but let's try and get past Perez here. As we go to the stadium section, I'm starting to lose a bit of time now. He's going quite slow through corners. Can I go around the outside here? Is that possible? I'm having a look, but no, it's not quite possible. Perez keeps his car nicely on the middle of the track and defends well. We're just going to keep the pressure on him. Hamilton setting the pace in the Mercedes. There we go, good exit. Perez is slow. Here's my chance. I'm going to back out for now. I wasn't going to go for it there, but he was gaining some momentum on me, so again, I can't quite make the move stick. We'll comfortably get him on the back straight though. Bit of a lock up, but we're going to keep it nice and tidy. On the gas nice and early, take a bit of a switchback line. There we go, we've got the momentum, let's get past him. Use the engine power, the fresh engine, paying dividends for us as we get past up into P7. He's hanging in there, to be fair. We'll have to go very late on the brakes, very wide to avoid contact. There we go, and now we're going to get the traction, job done. Up to P7. What a start to the race. Let's pull away now. We've got a massive train of cars behind us, so let's try and open up a gap while we can. The track's drying up. It's happening very quickly. I can feel the tyres overheating, I think. Let's confirm it. Yeah, there you go. Left side of the tyres overheating. I can feel them going already.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
Russell and Giovinazzi battling in front. That's good news. Let's try and push this lap and try and make up for lost time if we can. I'm trying to save fuel though as well because we're a bit too negative for my liking. The fuel consumption is a bit too heavy for my liking around here.
Some information on Vettel. They're retiring from the race.
Oh wow, Sebastian Vettel's out in the Ferrari in his home Grand Prix. Disappointment for the home fans. Seems like there's no safety car VSC. If there was, I would have probably gambled on a dry tyre. Especially if there's a safety car, but we're yet to have a safety car on this entire game. I've never seen it before. That's something I'll address in another video some other time. But good news is Verstappen isn't in first. He's in P3 at the minute. He's struggling to hit the front, which means he can't run away, which is good for us and our championship chances, of course. He's only 5 points behind me in the championship, Verstappen, so it's important that he doesn't run away. So I'm trying to close the gap here to Russell and Giovinazzi, but I'm trying to save fuel at the same time.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Got that confirmed.
Okay, soft tyres on lap 7. So next lap, dry tyres, that's what the team's saying. We've got a situation on our hands here because we've got
Green flag.
Giovinazzi in front, which means we could potentially stack. So, do I pit this lap for the dryers. I think I might have to roll the dice early. Let's see what Giovinazzi does. If he doesn't pit right now, I'm going to pit in for him. But look at that, the rain stopped. This is going to be interesting. Soft tyres ready. Let's hope everybody stays out and I can roll the dice.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Everyone's pitting in. Do I take the pain? I'm staying out. Oh well.
Antonio is in the pits. Antonio in the pits.
We'll have to take the pain for a lap.
We want to pit this lap, so push now.
All we can hope for is that the leaders get held up by slower cars, but it looks like they're all leaving the pit lane already. This isn't good for us. We've drawn the short straw when it comes to traffic. Let's just try and stay focused here, stay composed. We're not doing too badly so far, but obviously the dry tyre is going to be much, much quicker. The only good news is Verstappen isn't leading. That's the good news. Here we go then, we're going to pit in. We've had a slow in lap.
Box this lap, please.
We're going to pit in. It's not been a bad in lap. We've not locked up or anything. It's just, you know, we're running at the maximum pace you can run on these tyres. But there goes Gasly, so we've lost a lot of time for the leaders as we box in. That's not speed. Nice and easy. There we go. Right, we'll have 1 lap pressure tyres, of course. But that's about it. That's where the advantages kind of end, really. But it'll be soft tyres for us so we can push on. Hopefully we can rejoin in P7. That'd be good.
Release.
Let's see if we can rejoin here in P7. That'd be good news for us.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Right, that's good news. Back to where we were. We just lost a bit of ground to Russell and our teammate Giovinazzi, but we're back where we were. I was worried that we might have to make some more overtakes and, you know, get back through the pack again. We've also got our fuel back on target, so we can just drive flat out in this engine mode. Maybe a little bit of ERS deployment won't hurt anybody, but Verstappen's putting the pressure on Leclerc now, so we've got to make a move. We've got to start picking up the pace in this car. Track still feels a bit greasy, but dry tyres definitely the way to go at the minute.
We're expecting some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
Okay, so rain arriving soon. It is going to clash with the pit stops when we're scheduled to pit in for more soft tyres, so this could be very interesting. I don't think we've got the pace for the first lap of the race here today, as Verstappen's starting to close in on Gasly for the lead of the race. But I am closing in on Giovinazzi here for P6 as we keep pushing. I'm just worried about these tyres overheating, but we've got good pace now, and I'm starting to pull away from Magnussen as well. Just got to do our thing. I think whatever happens, I'm going to stay out on these tyres. That's my only way back into this race. If I stay out on these and get to the inters, that's my only hope. Oh, there you go, Gio pits. Will anyone else pit? Yes, they do. This is my chance. If I can get...
Antonio is coming in for a stop.
There we go, we're gaining places.
Box. We're coming in this lap.
I don't think we are. We're gaining places now. We're up to P3. If I can stretch this now to intermediates, we're right back in this race. We're going to be very close with Verstappen and Gasly when they pit in. Very close, but we are in this race. I need it to rain now. That's what I need.
Pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Here we go, it's starting to rain. And Verstappen and Gasly have pit. This is it. This is my opening. I've got to stay out. I've got to make it work on these old tyres now. They're pushing 40%, which is not that bad. My concern is overheating. Leclerc will pass me here. I can't do much about it. I don't have any fuel ERS to fight with. My front left is overheating. But crucially, there's Verstappen. He's still in the lead, but we're right in this now. We've halved the gap massively. I'll have DRS on Leclerc here, but now we need it to really rain so I can pit ASAP. Gasly behind me on mediums.
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
There goes Pierre Gasly. I can't fight him. Too much pace and I have no reserves to use. But we're doing our own race here. I've just got to try and hang on and not drop off massively. And don't let the gap go back out to like 15 seconds. You know, as long as they're within the same straight of us, we've got a chance. If I time this switch to inters perfectly, it could be the opportunity. We've still got at least one more lap left on these though, I think. The track isn't getting that bad at the minute. There's still plenty of grip. Starting to struggle now. The conditions aren't getting that much worse though. The tyres are still hanging on. We need the rain to get worse. George Russell behind me is absolutely flying on fresh softs. He's on the back of me now. The pace did start to drop on that lap a little bit, but we're still a long way away from intermediates, I think. We needed to really pick up on this lap. It's hard to start to struggle now. Really struggle. Russell's putting the pressure on big time. Do I pit in this lap? I don't think I am. I think I've got one more in me. But it could be the next lap. Having said that, the grip is starting to foul a little bit. Could I have pit in there? Maybe. Hopefully this is the right call. We're going to show Russell the long way around. I'd rather not lose another place if possible. Oh, that's a big bit of oversteer. That's not going to help. There goes George. This is the lap. I'm going to pit in this lap. I'm going to go for it. Just need to get to the end of the lap. Hopefully the AI stay out for one more lap on dries. That's my chance. Let's try and stay in front of Lewis here. Use up the engine mode to try and...
15 minutes spout of light rain, which will then move into heavy rain conditions.
Right, so it's going to finish wet. It's not going to go dry again. So yeah, we're going to pit in this lap for the Inters. This is definitely the lap, at least for my tyres anyway.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Copy.
Right, we'll pit in. We'll take that. It's silly track limits. What? That's a bit of a weird one. Either way, we're going to pit in. Everyone's pit in, including Verstappen and Leclerc. Russell will have to lose time, I think.
Antonio is in the pits. Antonio in the pits.
Alright, come on boys, we need a quick stop here.
Go. Exit now. We're racing on the exit. Complete. Go now. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
We've managed to get in front of Russell in the pit stops. What I need now is for it to be an absolute Hail Mary and just absolutely chuck it down. The exact same situation as last year's race. Right, we've got to try and stay in front of George Russell here, so I'm going to turn the engine up. But P3 is definitely achievable. Gasly just up the road, we can definitely catch him up, I think. Verstappen and Leclerc a little bit further ahead. So I'm going to be relying on hopefully some electric wet weather pace, because they've pulled away a bit more than I would have liked. My rears are cooking. Russell's getting that perfect traction that the AI can get in these conditions. I need it to rain more than this. These conditions don't suit me. I need it to be proper intermediates, because at the minute I'm out at sea. I don't have the grip in these conditions. I need some proper spray, some proper rain to come down, because at the minute Russell's got more pace. We are all identical pace at the moment. The gap to Gasly's been 2.8 for the last 5 laps, and Russell's just hanging on to the back of me here, so nothing's really changing. I'm waiting for the heavy rain to arrive. Once that arrives, we'll have a chance to go forward in this race. But until that arrives, we're just sat here, not really doing much, unfortunately. I'm pushing flat out. I've just got no more pace in the tank.
Heavy rain arriving in under 10 minutes.
I'd like that to arrive a little bit quicker. That's delayed itself. It was meant to arrive in 5 minutes. It's gone back to 10. Not ideal. We are making inroads now, though. We're starting to gain on Pierre Gasly here slightly. If I can just get that 3rd place, I'd be so happy and get on the podium where we started P19. Let's keep pushing, keep trying. There's still plenty of laps left.
We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
Not sure what the right tyres would be, to be honest. I'm struggling to make up this last bit of the gap, and now Russell's come alive again all of a sudden. I'm getting a slight inkling that AI have picked up their pace again, and I'm starting to go backwards again. That's just a bit of a guess, because I'm just struggling to make up the last bit of the gap to Gasly here. But I could be wrong, you never know. I'm just trying to push so much here. I'm trying to save the ERS I have to attack Gasly with, but I can't seem to get within a second. I know there's no DRS, but still I want to be within a second before I can really try and attack him. But I've got to keep Russell behind, so I've got to turn the engine up anyway. Still, we've got a couple of laps to go yet. It's still possible. I just need this rain to come down more. I need that heavy rain to arrive. Okay, we're finally within a second of Pierre Gasly here. Turning the engine up now to try and close the gap desperately as we've run out of laps. I'm going to go a bit sideways here. This isn't good. If there was DRS, it'd be a piece of cake, but there isn't, so it's going to make it a little bit trickier to get past. But we are now in the slipstream, so that's going to help us out. Let's try and get around the back of him for next lap. Here we go then, we're within range, within striking distance.
Rainfall to increase within the next couple of minutes.
Okay, that's good news. That's good timing for us. Only half a second behind Pierre Gasly here. Nice, tidy run through turn 1. This is what we wanted. Now we can get nice and close. Let's keep it tidy through here. I'm quite good at getting traction onto the back straight. There we go. Right, we're close enough. Let's go for it. Let's burn the fuel into the negatives if we need to. No DRS, but let's see if we've got enough for a slipstream. We are struggling. Gasly's harvesting and we're not even catching. That's quite surprising. Let's see if we can get a good exit here. Yes, we do. Good exit. Right in his gearbox. Can we force him to go defensive, possibly? Yes, we do. He runs a bit wide, but he stays in front for now. We're so close. Breathing down his neck. I'm on my final warning as well for track limits, so I've got to be careful. But here we go, last lap. This is it. All or nothing. We've got to make it count on this lap. Carrying the run through one. He'll go defensive. No, he won't. Let's try and get a better exit this time. Try and get the power down a bit earlier. There we go. Getting the power down, a bit of wheel spin. But we're right in his gearbox, and this time we're going to get the run. Here we go. We're going to pull to the right-hand side. We should be able to do this. We're going to turn the engine down to save a bit of fuel. So I'm quite marginal. Gasly on the outside here. We're going to go down the inside of our former teammate and pick it up at the hairpin, and there we go. Job done. That's what we wanted. Fantastic move. Up onto the podium on the last lap of the race. Let's bring it home now. No mistakes. Verstappen is going to win, however, which is unfortunate for us because it is going to mean we will lose our championship lead in this race, which I kind of expected. I kind of predicted, to be honest. And Hungary's the next one, which isn't a good track for me either. So we could be in for a bit of a rough patch here until we can get these engine power problems sorted out. It could be advantage Red Bull, but it's a long season, and you know things could swing in our favour again. But Verstappen wins at the Hockenheim ring as we now go through the final couple of corners. But we are going to come through from 19th on the grid to bring home a podium, and I'll take that every day of the week. Get in.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and have the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Max Verstappen wins the German Grand Prix ahead of Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. In the end, Verstappen was just too quick for everybody else, and we tried our best. We rolled the dice, we stayed out on the soft tyre. It almost paid off. The rain was just a bit too slow to arrive, in my opinion, and it cost us in the end. But still, we got third place. We got Gasly on the last lap. George Russell P5 in the Red Bull, and yeah, overall, Verstappen also didn't pick up the fastest lap, which went to George Russell, which is good news for us because it's 1 point less that Verstappen can now score us by. And yeah, overall, Giovinazzi P7, he scores points as well. Hamilton in P6, and then we've got Albon, Magnussen, and Hulkenberg rounding out the top 10. We then have Sainz, Perez, Norris, Bottas, Kvyat, Stroll, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Grosjean, and then Sebastian Vettel, the only retirement of the Grand Prix here today. And in terms of the standings, if we have a little look, we're in second place now. Verstappen overtakes us and he's 5 points clear at the top of the standings. Giovinazzi up to P14 now in the Williams and scoring a few points so far in his Williams career. And in terms of the constructors, we're in second place. We overtake Racing Point and also Ferrari back into second place, but Red Bull are looking dominant out front. And yeah, overall, they're looking quite untouchable at the moment, and it could continue to be that way for at least a couple of races. But guys, that is it for this race here today. We're now going to move into the laptop and purchase a couple of engine upgrades for this Williams car. So let's jump into it right now.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You must be happy with the result today. You're no longer in the top spot. Are you hoping to regain it? How how do you feel the weather affected the outcome today? Appreciate your time.
Right, so here we are then on the laptop, and straight away on the R&D tree we have to make some purchases. We have 3,200 points to spend, and we are going to straight away purchase the fouled engine upgrade for this race, and that will arrive in the next one in Hungary, and then we can add 2 engine power ones hopefully for the coming races at Spa and Monza. They're only minor ones, but we'll keep progressing the R&D tree accordingly, and hopefully it will help us out. Do I dare invest in this fuel consumption one as well? You know, do I need to buy both of these to unlock the next upgrade? I guess it's a risk I'll find out. I think I'm going to take a risk and not buy this one and wait to see if it unlocks in the next episode, and we can save our 2,400 points to spend on both of these upgrades coming up now. But if I run some quick mental math, these 2 upgrades combined are 1,400 points, and that would leave me with 1,000 points left over. So could I potentially purchase something else elsewhere for a better price? The aero ones are sitting at 1.6 and the chassis ones at 1.5. I'm kind of tempted to go for a chassis one, to be honest, so I think we're going to go for one of these, because after the next episode I'll have more than enough points to purchase one. So we're going to get that on the car for Italy. If that does arrive for Italy, that will help us out massively for that power circuit. But guys, that is it for this episode of Career Mode here today. If you guys enjoy the video, drop a big fat like on it, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me. And also finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. But until then, it's goodbye from me.